Rafa Benitez, Luis Felipe Scolari, Andre Villas-Boas and Graham Potter. What do all those four managers, Josh, have in common?
Are they prospective new managers for Chelsea Football Club?
No fucking way. I do not want any of them boys at the helm, although Graham Potter does have a, he's got a little bit of a soft spot for me. I feel like he was a little bit harshly done at times sometimes, but not so much so that I want him managing Chelsea. No way. What they do all have in common is all four of those managers were sacked in their 7th month of being Chelsea Football Club manager. So I think the question that we really need to ask in today's video is Mauricio Pochettino about to join them in that unlucky 7th month list? Here to help me do so is my good friend and channel fan favourite, Josh Aveste. Josh, you were at the game yesterday.
I was.
How you feeling?
Do you know what? It's one of those...
Should we go round two?
Yeah. Go on, please.
This is going to be like a weekly sort of segment, weekly part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Where we just get in here and we have a bit of man love, really.
Mate, we just need some therapy. We need a therapy session, don't we? It's awful. It's awful at the moment.
What was it like yesterday? Because you were at the ground, obviously. It was a hard watch. I was round at Brian's watching it before we did the kickoff. Shit. Really shit. What was it like in the ground?
I have to say, the atmosphere, we've been at Stamford Bridge where there have been toxic atmospheres, but it's getting worse and worse at the moment now. The problem, the word that I'd use to describe it at the moment is a bit of apathy. Like you go into the ground now and there's
Hold
not
on.
really...
Hold on.
Definition?
Yeah, I don't know what apathy is.
Apathy means you just don't give a fuck anymore. You're past caring. Like it's
deflated.
Deflated
for the common man.
Yeah. People just are sick of it, and I think they're so sick of it, and they're so bored of the mismanagement of the football club that they just don't care about booing as much anymore. Like we had some boos at half time. There was a big round of boos at full time as well, but it's nowhere near as bad as it once was, and that's the worst part. Like I actually want my football club to be a little bit toxic in moments like this. You want the fans to be going crazy, and now it's sort of like we're just resigned to failure. And I feel that like yesterday for me in the ground, it sort of showed how bad we actually are now. Like we're going into a period of time where Chelsea Football Club, well, I don't know if it's going to be rectified immediately. I don't think someone coming in or anything that the club could do right now are going to change our fortunes immediately. And that's what I'm getting from the fans, mate.
You spoke about the boos, but there was a lot more than just boos. There were a lot of chants. There was a chant you told me about just now. So the main one that I saw was a lot of people chanting for Roman Abramovich. Sort of no point in it because you're never going to get him back. But I get it. I understand it. And I can't deny it. If I was there after a few singers at half time and watching that sort of shit, I'd probably be chanting for him too. So that's fine.
The one thing that I'd say, though, back to that chant, and I didn't join in on that chant, but the one thing that I would say is we kind of were on the slide for a long time. I know the Champions League title really does put a pin in that. But
4 years without a league title.
But you have to say, like, we've not had a very good run of things at all in the Premier League for a long time, and it predates
it's now what is now 6 years without a league title.
I think it's 7.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. By Roman Abramovich's sort of end of his era, his last season, I think the season he was sort of removed as our owner in, that would be the 5th in a row without a league title. And I remember being very confident we were going to win that league that season because we had signed Romelu Lukaku. He had come off the back of really good form in Italy, obviously. We had just won the Champions League and I thought, right, this is it. Tuchel goes and wins that title. We didn't. And it's all been downhill since then. So, obviously, Roman Abramovich was a man that was cheered for. There was a lot of cheers of you getting sacked in the morning from the Wolves fans to the Chelsea fans. The concerning part of that is we were hearing a lot of the Chelsea fans were joining in with them.
Oh, God, yeah. They were saying we're fucking shit. We were singing, the Matthew Harding entire end was singing, we are fucking shit. That is the level that we're at now.
It's good to be on the same page.
Yeah. It was. Do you know what? I haven't heard one rival fan group going, you're fucking shit, and us joining in, I think, ever. And I don't know if I've ever heard that. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that at a football ground. That's sorry state of affairs.
Well, listen, that's the sort of situation we're in at the moment. But one more cheer that was being sung quite loudly. I never picked up on this on the TV. I never heard it, but you were in the ground. Who was that cheer for?
It was for Jose Mourinho. And I thought, obviously you weren't there, but I thought you'd sent a text message, mate, to a couple of your mates in the Matthew Harding. Yeah, because I know you've got a soft spot for Jose. So yeah, there were some Jose in chants, which Do you know what? It's mental, isn't it, when you look at the profile of the squad? But you have to say, when Jose's on the market, it's always an option for Chelsea Football Club, isn't it?
Shall we very briefly touch on the game?
Do we have to?
Nah, let's not do it.
No. Let's talk about the game briefly. I think, the tactics that Pochettino set us up with was, it was a start of a failure. You knew that was coming. Like when
I know he missed a sitter, by the way, but do you not think Jackson should have started?
I think Jackson should have started 100%.
Yeah.
I think that basically
you're seeing the team on screen now, anyway.
Yeah. I think the tactics that he picked were just wrong. Like when you got those two midfielders, they were completely isolated. I mean, Caicedo, when he's made a couple of mistakes, bad mistakes, I would say, in the game, but he just had no one around him. Do you remember back in the day? I was thinking about this. We had Kovacic and Kante together. And they were both very, very good ball sort of like distributors and sort of they would hold on to the ball very well. They would distribute it from defence, take it very quickly, move it on and move it forward. And Kovacic actually was one of the best players I've ever seen at doing that, and obviously we've got rid of him. And I don't think like Enzo is so much worse than Kovacic at doing that. But if it's just Caicedo by himself, you're ready to sort of fail in that perspective. Like, he's a very good player.
You had Fabregas and Matic next to each other. You had good partnerships there. And at the moment, it's mad because in the summer, we're looking at it. We're trying to identify a partner for Enzo Fernandez. And anyone who's a long-term watcher of the channel will remember, my ideal candidate. Do you remember who it was?
Tell me.
Alvarez, who's now at West Ham. And I'll die on my sword here. I think maybe Alvarez could have been a better sort of cog in that midfield as it is at the minute, which some people are massively disagree with. But I don't know. I don't know if the Enzo Caicedo partnership is working.
Lavie is the one for me that I really want to see in that role.
We've had news today. Chelsea have released a bit of information on Lavie. The information is there's no information.
Brilliant.
No return date, no guideline of when he might be returning. So,
which is so scary for a 19-year-old player. But yeah, mate, going back to the tactics, I just thought the way that we set up, we invited pressure on ourselves, and you could we had a lot of mistakes. But the reason why we had those mistakes is because of the tactical setup. And we're going to talk about this, and I think we need to talk about this, but there needs to be something different in the tactics. When you've got a young team and young players, and you're getting exposed in centre mid, and you're getting exposed at centre back, which is what we're doing over and over again, change the fucking system. Like, it's not rocket science, is it? Like, you've got a 39-year-old Thiago Silva at centre back next to Disasi, a guy that's new to the Premier League, and in sort of like centre back terms is relatively inexperienced at 25. And then you've got two players in front of them that are, again, isolated in their own ways because they don't have a midfield three, a third guy all around them. And it's just obvious changes, mate. It's just so bad. Like, we're getting cut apart. So many balls over the top in wing-back areas that are just exposed. And it's just not going well, mate. It's just not going well. So, mate, tactical changes is just something. And that's why there's so much pressure on Poch right now.
We're going to get on to the potential tactical changes that we could see and could potentially save Pochettino's job here. But let's just carry on with the bad feeling. Let's get all this done.
Yeah.
There was a guy, an influencer type. I ain't got a clue who he is, but apparently he does something to do with the club. Give you a bit of context. He was messaging Mykhailo Mudryk after the game. I should be able to pull the messages up, but I don't really know. They got into a bit of back and forth. Basically, the way I see it is this. The guy is an idiot. You don't, listen, I talk about Chelsea players on this podcast. I wouldn't ever sound really that scathing. Sometimes I might have said one or two things that may have crossed the line in my emotion and whatnot. But at the same time as doing that, I'm a platform. This is how I earn my living, and I've got my right, being a match-going fan, to be able to talk about, the players that are on the pitch performing and whatnot, as long as it's nothing unnecessary. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't send Mykhailo Mudryk a DM calling him, what was it, fucking shit or something like that. Have you seen the DMs?
I've seen them briefly.
It was pretty pathetic. So on the guy's behalf, are we in agreement?
It's just a weird one, isn't it? Like, why go for Mykhailo Mudryk? I know you got a bit of banter with me about having posters on my wall about Mykhailo. But, the guy had got an assist yesterday.
Mykhailo Mudryk,
he's not the problem,
is a problem He ain't yesterday's problem.
He's not the problem.
He's not the problem.
No. Absolutely. No. So harsh. And going for players in this way, when you know that Mykhailo Mudryk is a confidence player, and we should be backing the boys. Like, this is the sign of like a true fan for me. When you go to the games, you feel the sort of sentiment of our players and you want them to improve, irregardless of the situation, irregardless of how badly they're performing. I want every single one of those players in our squad right now to get better. That's the key thing. You want it as well. All of the fans in the ground, as much as we boo and we cuss them out and we say they're shit in moments, when they're doing something good, we also give them praise. But also, when they need an arm around them, you've got to say, like, these are the boys that are in the Chelsea shirt right now. We've got to back them. And
you got to manage the way that you do it. You got to manage the way that you level criticism at young players, whether you like it or not. It is a different world, and you have got to manage the way you do that. Listen, me and you sit when we're doing the adverts for the channel, right? And sometimes you might say to me, "Yeah, that's good. Do that again with a bit more." Now, if you just went to me, do that, but don't do it fucking shit like the last time you did it, then I'm not going to... It's going to knock my confidence, mate. Manscaped aren't going to get a good advert out of me. But if you manage the way that you give me the constructive criticism, I'm probably going to take it on board better. However, I'm going to address it. Since my Misfits fight, right? Did you know I fought on Misfits? I ain't still talking about it since. Since my Misfits fight, right? I've had a lot of people, I'm talking tens, maybe hundreds, right? Of people getting in my inbox. I've never heard of them before, messaging me, you shit, you couldn't do that against me, blah, 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 blah. Now, it might be tempting for me to sometimes go, I'll tell you what, let's not call it 10 grand, what Mykhailo Mudryk offered, but it might be tempting for me to go, come on then, come down to the gym, we'll film it, 500 quid says you can't stay on your feet for 5 rounds against me, yeah? It's tempting for me to do that, but that's fucking moronic for me to do that. I wouldn't go back to those people. If you are one of those people that has ever messaged me saying, since the Misfits fight, saying negative, you'll know that I've not even opened your message, yeah? Mykhailo Mudryk's gone back to this fella, saying, are you any good at football? 1v1, 10 grand on it. Immature. Fair?
It's a silly thing for him to do.
Fair?
No, it's not. It's a silly thing for him to do. But as you say, he's a young player. He's in a new country. I'm sure he's dealing with a lot himself, right? Mentally, you can see it on his face, mate.
What did Spider-Man's granddad say to him?
Tell me.
With great power comes great responsibility. With great earnings, with great money that you're earning every week, which you are earning good money, comes great responsibility. Don't go back to the idiots. The fella's an idiot. I'm saying he's an idiot. Don't go back at him.
I know, but come on, you can understand why when you're sick of it, when you've got people hounding you and hounding you and hounding you. This guy's got a massive audience. You can understand why he would go back and he would give it back to him. And do you know what? Like, it's funny, isn't it? Like,
yeah, but it doesn't answer anything, mate. Taking him on in a 1v1 doesn't prove anything.
It doesn't answer anything, but it doesn't answer anything. But also, you're just like, what are you going to do? You're just going to see that message and just take it. Like, do you know what? Sometimes when you're so sick of something, you just go, yeah, fuck you. You know, I'm going to have it out. Why not? Why not go back to someone? If they think they're the dog's bollocks, why not go back to them?
I think out of respect for us, the fans, he shouldn't be doing it. Not because that guy's a fan, you've gone back to him, but just because then it's like, oh, you're making me cringe. Can I tell you something? JT, for his faults, never made me cringe. Lampard never made me cringe. Joe Cole has never made me cringe. But a lot of these boys are doing stuff that's just making me cringe all the time. Maybe it's the age of social media. Maybe these guys would have been doing that.
That's the thing. Those lads didn't grow up in the age of social media. Can you imagine a young Frank Lampard that's going on from West Ham, someone in the crowd literally saying you're shit and you're fat? And you can imagine that happening right now.
He's added the fat in there as well.
But can you imagine that? Frank, I'm sure a 17-year-old Frank might well have piped up in that scenario.
Yeah.
And Mykhailo's 23, so it's different. But also, come on, he's a young guy. And you know what, mate? I mentioned this on the kickoff, and I believe it. Like, you saw him in the warm-up yesterday when he was coming on at half-time, just kicking a ball around. He was by himself. Like, I actually do feel sorry for the kid. Like, he's come to a new place. He doesn't really have any close mates. He doesn't have any people from where he's from in the team. Do you know what I mean? So he doesn't really have that sort of arm around him. When you look at some of the young Brazilian players that have come to Chelsea, they've had Thiago Silva with their arm around him. He's a sort of father figure. And I think he's missing that at Chelsea Football Club at the moment. And we miss that from a captaincy perspective. Because you know, if John Terry and Frank Lampard were in that squad right now, they'd be having an arm around Mykhailo, and Mykhailo would immediately be better. Yeah. So I feel really sorry for him. I'm not saying it's not silly what he's done, but I do feel sorry for him in this situation, because also to go for Mykhailo Mudryk out of all of the players that started yesterday that were horrendous.
There's way more deserved
joke.
players that you could give a bit of stick to from yesterday's performance. One player that rarely gets a bit of stick, me and you have questioned his ability at this age, is Thiago Silva. He scored a goal for us yesterday. Ironically, Mikhailo Mudryk set it up. But someone wasn't happy yesterday. Silva was not happy. It wasn't Thiago Silva.
Beautiful Belle.
Beautiful Belle.
We love her. She's like basically a fan channel now, isn't she, for Chelsea Football Club?
She's good stuff. I like Belle Silva.
Yeah,
Goes to the away game, sits in the away end, gets in amongst it with the fans.
I respect her a lot. So, what was the tweet?
Oh, let me put it up. Right, Belle Silva.
It's probably gone now.
Hold on. No. I've got it. Belle Silva. Hey Joey, free tonight if you want to meet. No, that's another message from Belle Silva.
That's another message from another Belle, mate.
Belle Silva, it's time to change. If you wait any longer, it will be too late. Love heart.
Love heart, Joey Knight. Very cryptic, Joey, wasn't it? It was very cryptic.
Not that fucking cryptic. She's basically saying sack the manager. Okay, no. Don't take a detective to work that one out.
She's basically Chelsea vice captain right now, isn't she?
Yeah. That's bad. Come on. No, listen, we want to be tribal and protect our own, and no one is more of our own at this minute in time than Thiago Silva. But you can't have that.
What happens if he believes it?
You can't do it. You don't... Mate, you can't do that.
Okay, so when you're in the dressing room and JT and Frank were there and they were speaking to Roman Abramovich privately and saying that this manager isn't good enough, because you know they've done that several times.
Yeah.
So that's cool, but what Bell did is not.
Yeah.
Why?
The words you just used. Privately. Privately. Do it behind closed doors. Do that behind closed doors. And also, do you know what? Like, look, I ain't saying that people's missuses ain't got a brain of their own, but clearly the feeling in the household.
Oh, yeah. I think Thiago Silva has probably said this internally. I think if you look at the body language of Thiago Silva this entire season, I think there's elements of it where he's just sick of it. He's playing with kids that he knows that are not good enough, and he's just knows that recruitment guys have just absolutely had a mare.
Okay, and that's very much true. That's very much true, right? But we're reading between the lines, and I feel like the lines are quite easy to read between, and she's calling for the manager to be sacked. Now, the two factors you've just mentioned there, and other factors we could go in, we have been run awfully in the short term. Yeah. Could it go good in the long term? It could. There's a possibility, but in the short term, it's been abysmal, right? That's one of the main factors there. Belle Silva's not alluding to that. Belle Silva is pretty much saying that you got to sack the manager. And it's like, I get it. I do get it, but it's just, you know...
It's a bit wrong, and also, like as you said on the kickoff, I wouldn't want someone close to me, regardless of if it's my missus, my mum, my dad, my sister, my brother, whatever it is. I wouldn't want someone tweeting that out because again, it's an internal thing. We don't exactly know.
And if she wants to vent, just text us.
Yeah, just text us, and we'll say it. We'll say it here.
Just text me, Belle. For God's sake, just answer the phone.
You do keep calling her mid-podcast.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. He keeps cutting that out as well. It's very strange. So
give
Belle.
Belle.
Give Belle a bell. Yeah, no, it's a weird one, and I have to say, like, it's moments like this that show the internal divisions in the club very viscerally, and I hate it because it's shows very clearly that our squad is not together, and I think that's been more than obvious on the pitch, but now it's spilling out into the public world. And so we've seen it with Mikhailo, we're seeing it with Belle Silva. It's not good. It's not a good sign for the football club.
So we are hearing that Pochettino isn't going to be sacked as of this moment in time. His press conference is still scheduled, and the club have put it out. It's going ahead tomorrow, 12 p.m. for the match against Aston Villa, which will obviously be on Wednesday. If he's not being sacked right now, when is the straw that breaks the camel's back? Because a lot of people would have said that straw that broke the camel's back would have been potentially against Man United, against Everton, against so many teams, Borough away from home. There's so many times when under another ownership, under Roman, Poch has probably been sacked 3 times over by now, to be honest. So let's entertain a possibility and hopefully not a probability. Hopefully this doesn't happen. I really, really hope things come right. But we've not won in our last 3 matches now. We now face a tough away trip Wednesday night to Villa Park, which is a fortress, against the Villa team who are in good form, coming off the back of a 5-0 win if Chelsea doesn't win that match, if we don't win that game, is that curtains for Pochettino?
I'm really interested to know what your perspective is. Like, as of right now, mate, are you Poch in or Poch out?
As of right now, I've just had a text saying Joe United's confirmed for March the 23rd on Misfits.
Stop it.
That's pretty fucking
Breaking
exciting.
News. You heard it here first.
That was literally my phone going off there. Mad. Right. What were you asking me?
Do you know what's really funny is that was an incredibly important moment where I asked you a very clear question, Poch in or Poch out, that everyone wants to know, and you've tried to deflect it. It's classic, isn't it? He doesn't even want to answer the question.
Have I told you I'm using a new type of washing up liquid at home? Anything else? Oh, are we done? Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. Do this. Ask me, am I Poch out?
Are you Poch out?
No.
Are you Poch in?
No. I'm Poch. I ain't got a fucking clue, mate. I don't know.
If you were the directors of football, if you were Todd Boehly, what would be your plan of attack right now?
I'd look in a mirror and go, "You're the twat, mate, not Poch."
Can you do it in the accent, please?
You're the twat, man. They don't say twat, though,
They say twat.
Like, you're a fucking loser, man. You might have all the money in the world, but you can't fucking play soccer.
I just want to apologise to all the American viewers.
Yeah.
That was appalling.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. And apologise to Bowley, to be honest. So, but you've never given me no work to do with the club, so fuck yourself. No.
That's the last time you'll ever get an invite.
No. Look, I think that Todd Boehly, you don't get to the level of wealth Todd Boehly has got to and the level of success in business without being able to at least acknowledge your failures. And I believe that Todd Boehly will be able to acknowledge a lot of his failures. I think that you even see the fact that he was in the ground, in the stands, watching games quite a lot when he had first took over. Now you don't really see it. He's obviously navigated a lot of his responsibilities and passed them on to others, and we're hoping that things are going to come good. I would imagine that Todd Boehly, in the short term, would be a lot more reluctant to pull the trigger on Pochettino because he would understand, right, this guy's not performing, this guy's not done well, this guy's not done any better than Graham Potter has, and I sacked him. However, I'm starting to learn more about this industry as things go along, and I have not given him the correct tools that he needs for this job. And now we're in a whole shit FFP situation where potentially we're never going to be able to go out and buy those tools. And we will touch on that in another video. But I think there are a lot of underlying circumstances that make it very hard for me to answer your question whether I'm Poch in, Poch out. If, for example, my phone popped up now and it said Pochettino's been sacked, Jose Mourinho's been appointed, what sort of face do you think I'm going to be putting?
I think you'd be chuffed. I think you'd be absolutely chuffed, wouldn't you?
There would be a big smile there. Because I love Jose. There would be a big smile. If you said to me now, you can get rid of Poch right now. This is hypothetical, so I don't know why we're even talking about it because it's completely, irrelevant. But if you said to me now, get rid of Poch, get Ancelotti in. Yes, please. If you said to me now, you can get rid of Poch, get Jose back in. Yeah, I probably would do it, sort of thing. If you said to me now, you can get rid of Poch and, I don't know, you can look at the market and get a Lopetegui in or a De Zerbi or someone like that. No, thank you. No, I don't want De Zerbi, by the way. He fucking hates us and all. So we're in between a rock and a hard place. And to use a phrase of Brian's, pick your poison, really, isn't it?
It's so true. And look, yesterday I came into the kickoff. I was a bit emotional after the game, having sort of trundled over to the kickoff and have to talk about another Chelsea loss. It's so depressing and hard. I have to say, especially after the last 2 years of everything that we've been through at Chelsea Football Club, about how we've just completely walked into mediocrity overnight. It's been horrible. So my position yesterday was going, I could understand why Todd Boehly would sack him. Would that be my decision? I don't know. I don't think I would. I think I'm in agreement with you where it's sort of like, I don't think that the management and recruitment structure have provided us a sort of like a functional system and players to actually work with. And I think that Pochettino is sort of like, boxing with one hand behind his back. He's trying his best. He's always going to lose the fight.
He's no Joey Knight. He can't do the old two hands behind the back, knock him down, spin around the side.
He can't do that. He can't do a Joey Knight.
Anyway, stop bringing up my boxing. I don't want to talk about it.
March 23rd.
Yeah.
Buy tickets now. It's in a place you might not want to go. So yeah, I think
I don't know whether I'll be able to get into the country.
Yeah.
Nah, we're clean.
Ish. So yeah, I personally I would give him now until the end of the season because I just don't know what's going to change. I don't think bringing another manager, another interim in charge would change that much anyway. The only thing that would change my perspective if there's any more palpable discord with the players, which at the moment it feels like it's just filtering out all the time. So if there's another few instances of this where the players are actively going, we're not getting any better, the tactics are shit, I don't believe in this guy, then you have to start questioning it.
If there was an elite manager on the market, I think we're going, and he would come to Chelsea, I think we're going, right, bring him in.
Why would the elite manager come in to Chelsea Football Club
Why
midway through the season when they're 11th place?
You're right.
I actually think now is a bit of this is a poison chalice. And for all the people now that are claiming, bring another manager in, it'll be fine, we'll get Jose in, we'll get Amorim in, we'll get De Zerbi in, we'll get whoever. Those people are taking for granted that those managers are going to take the job. When really, we're a bit of a basket case. Have you not seen the tweets
and that when it's like Chelsea are open to, or Chelsea are interested in Xabi Alonso, and it's like,
why the fuck would Xabi Alonso
I'm fucking interested in Kim Kardashian. It doesn't mean I'm going to shag her after the tournament.
Tried.
I've tried a few times.
Yeah.
I'm no Ray J.
All those DMs would lie.
Yeah. Right. Let's think here about how Pochettino changes it. We've got about 5 minutes. We'll run with this. How does Pochettino change it? I've got only one explanation, one answer, and even that is just rolling the dice, closing my eyes and hoping to roll a good number here. And that, for me, is the change of formation. Is this something we're on the same lines with?
I mean, we were calling for it last week, weren't we? We did a video.
We actually called for it about a month ago.
Yeah, we did. There you go. So we were calling for it. We've been saying the five at the back actually fits our players quite adequately, quite well. If you think about it, like you've got young, inexperienced defenders plus a very old Thiago Silva who doesn't have as much pace as he once did. So playing them all three together would really work.
It sort of makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Pochettino thinks that Levi Colwill is a left back.
Yeah.
We don't. So let's meet in the middle. Play 5 at the back. Play Thiago Silva in the middle. Levi Colwill one side of him. Obviously, if he's injured, Benoit Badiashile. Play Disasi. Play him the other side of him. And stick Gusto and Chilwell on the sort of wing back roles. And then, all right, we've got one less player in attack, but none of them are fucking that good anyway.
No, but
Drop Sterling.
But then also, like, you don't get exposed to the back. You've got protection for Enzo and Casado, which they desperately need. And then you can also allow the attackers to be attackers. Because at the moment, you've got wingers that are having to track back and come right back into the defence. You don't see the best out of Nkunku or Jackson because they're never on the last man. They're never right up the pitch. And then you don't actually see the best out of Carney or Gallagher even because again they have to be up and down when really their best is number 10s. So I just think actually the 5 at the back system would bring out every single best element from our squad and our players. So it does seem like it's obvious now. And do you know what's interesting, mate, is there have already been leaks. We've already heard this, like Pochettino favours a 5 at the back system going forward to save our season. The Evening Standard are sort of writing that out. And there's our
that's it. So if you thought there was a possibility that we played good with a 5 at the back, I'll tell you what to do. Wait until we get battered by Liverpool. Wait until we get battered at home by Wolves. 2 losses on the bounce to Wolves, basically, as our back-to-back wins over us this season. And then go, tell you what I've had up my sleeve, though, this little 5 at the back system, it's just fucking stupid.
It's too late. It's too late. And this is why, like, we have to give some oxygen to people that are calling for him to be sacked. Because it's tactical elements like this that he's so late on. He's late on the subs. He's late on the tactical changes. You know, even when, we were, 2-1 down at half-time, yesterday, and he didn't change anything at half-time. It's like we're losing at home to Wolves. Can you imagine what Jose or Conte or Ancelotti would have done in that scenario? They would have gone fucking mental, first of all, and then they would have changed it. The players that weren't performing, they would have taken them off. Raheem Sterling, how many minutes did he get yesterday?
And you know what the ironic thing is? The ironic thing here is like, people will argue against this and they say he got beat 4-1. When he made the treble substitution against Liverpool, we did play better after that.
Yeah, we did. And also, like, look, with the penalties and everything, that we could have had a completely different result in that game. You never know. So yeah, those tactical changes did change the game. I don't know why he didn't do that against Wolves. You've got Carney Chukwuemeka on the bench, who we know could progress the ball and would have supported the midfielders. Didn't come on for ages. It was a really weird one. So that's why you can understand why people are calling for him to be sacked. And we have to talk about that, mate. There is complete rational thinking why you should sack him now. Completely. But it's just not what we agree with.
Yeah. Well, listen, we spoke a lot about the tactical changes there. We've spoke about the possibility of changing formation. And I think that in tomorrow's video where we preview the Chelsea against Aston Villa game, second leg, 5th round of the FA Cup? Fourth,
isn't it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
When we preview that game, there's a very high possibility that you will see myself and Josh opt for a formation change, maybe for a 5 at the back, 3 centre-backs in there. Let's see. Make sure you are tuned in tomorrow for that video. Please do me a massive favour right now. Head over to Josh's YouTube channel, subscribe to Josh's YouTube channel, and leave some lovely comments on Josh's YouTube channel to thank him for coming in today. Also, if you are wondering where this video is brought to you from, it is brought to you from Podcast Room in Barnes. Where's the other one? Your other studio? Bromley. And Bromley. So if you're in the Barnes or Bromley area, make sure you give them a message. If you want to film somewhere like this, they'll give you a good price. If you say I sent you, hit the link in the description. Their website is linked there. People, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one.